All right, sorry about that, guys. I really don't have the best of luck when it comes to technology. So anyway, we're gonna continue where we left off. So that being said, I see that your happiness is affected, that you may have not been a happy child because you didn't get the nurturing energy, loving energy that you needed. Therefore, you overgive now, and it either does one of two things. It attracts people to you, but where they overextend, and you've gone through this time and time again, where there could be a taking advantage energy going on, and because of this you don't trust easily, so therefore you don't express yourself when it's happening, and you end up blowing up. And then there's something about possibly being controlled in your childhood, where it's like it was to the point where you weren't able to be yourself. You weren't able to act like yourself. And how it affects you now is that you may be controlling because you had no control growing up. So I just want to see one more thing. Fire ant, thoughtful, disciplined. So what you're supposed to be when this comes into balance, thoughtful and disciplined. So disciplined in the sense that possibly holding yourself back, knowing who your audience is, making sure you don't have an imbalance with the give or take energy, and being thoughtful in the process of that. Thoughtful and disciplined. And with the eagle, and when I say disciplined, that could be disciplined in holding yourself back from that energy of where you just want to give. Because that's you on a subconscious level, trying to get back something you didn't get during childhood. It's crazy how the mind works, right? All right, so bright, radiant, challenges. So again, going back to this, you may be controlling or trying to control things in your life, because on a subconscious level, you felt like you didn't have control. You weren't able to make the decisions you wanted to. Other people were making them for you, telling you how to think, what you should be doing. But you're supposed to be radiant, bright, yeah, see, and this part is a challenge because we have Saturn's energy here. When the eagle appears, you'll soon be thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of your transformation. Because if you think about it, you shouldn't be in this energy of not knowing who you really are, not knowing what resonates with you. And, because how it's playing out is because of this, you're trying to control something because you didn't have control over your own life growing up. So this is a challenge. It's surrendering. It's letting go of control, which is really hard. Because when you do that, you're also risking getting hurt, right? Because on a subconscious level, you're also probably trying to control people and situations to protect yourself. And that's also why it's a challenge, because it's like you have to let your guard down. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves and stop at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You are stronger than you think, Eagle Child. That's beautiful. Okay, so let's not end it on a bad note. Let's see, how can you heal this? Let's talk about how you can heal these things, okay? How can pile 2 heal these things? Let me get some sage, because I took a little mental break. Because sometimes these videos, oh my God, no offense, but it's like they go on and on. And I'm like, oh my God, why? It's just because like I don't want to stop what's coming through. So, but it gets a little exhausting. Okay, so how do you heal this? How do you heal this? How does pile 2 heal this? Raise your vibration. I can pile, ooh, that wanted to come out. Teresa, time out. You've been so busy taking care of everyone else's needs, but now it's time to stop and take care of yourself. What did I tell you, pile 2? You have this going on. I'm going to put it straightforward for visual purposes. You see, and it's like, you know what's funny about this is that when I saw all these people coming towards you, and because you were symbolic of this. I don't think this is really a flower in the middle. Maybe it is. I don't know. But in the vision, it was a flower. So it's like people gravitate towards you because of this like mothering, like nurturing energy you give. But it's like, in order to heal this, right? You're doing it on some type of subconscious level because you want it back because you didn't get it as a child, but that's imbalance. And it's also because you're not doing it purposely. I don't want to say that it's not holistic, right? It's not that you're not consciously doing this to get something back, but you are on a subconscious level. And it's like, to heal this, you have to stop thinking of other people before yourself. It's a huge message. Okay, so what did we ask? How can you heal this? Okay. How can you heal this? How can you heal this? How can pile 2 heal this? Yin yang is coming through. Balance. There's an imbalance between your shadow and your light. It's like you have to give to yourself first. And it's like, if people think that's selfish, fuck them. They don't get it. You're literally meant to come first. I see all this light coming from your head and kind of like radiating like off of you like dust, like stardust, something like that. And somehow it brings you to your path. It like brings you to your soul tribe. I'm seeing like a bunch of people around something, like like making a circle around something that's really, really bright. It's like if you focus on yourself and your path of healing, you can then do it in a balanced way where it's like you give back based off of your own hurt and your own healing. It's like, you know what you've gone through, and you know when other people go through it, and it's like you can then heal. That's the message. It's like a path of your own healing, and in return you can help others, like bring them into their light. That's like the message I'm getting. Oh my God, so annoying. Sorry. Okay, so let me see, let's read. It's time to move up a level. It's time to fly high. You may have experienced some setbacks or felt low recently, but that is behind you now, and you have the opportunity to light up like never before. What did I tell you? I kept seeing so much light. Everything in the entire universe is comprised of energy, and that energy vibrates, drawing toward its similar energy. So, raising your vibration means aligning yourself with situations, people, places, and choices that you know will lift you up, support you, and help you grow. When this card appears, you have overcome the darkness and are moving into a time of opportunity. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you can be reborn. Know that angels are acknowledging your commitment to growth. You are filled with inspiration now and attracting only the good. I love that, because it's like there's a message here about Saturn and Scorpio energy. Scorpio is that house of transformation, death, rebirth. It's like something needs to be put to an end. This is why I chose this crystal, because you know, there's certain crystals that I don't know about you guys, but like I feel that shit. I'm like, oh, this shit feels good. And it's not just like the texture. It's like I'm actually getting something. Because sometimes I'm like, I got nothing. You know, like there's really certain crystals, and I know it's not in my mind. Like I feel that shit. And there's something about these ones. I forgot what these are called, to be honest with you. But I feel that. And I chose this because usually with childhood wounds, not usually, it is, there's like this kind of like death, rebirth thing that needs to take place. Because usually it's a wound that, not usually, it is a wound that is present, that just isn't helping us. It hurts us. So there's a strong message about stepping into your own light, your own power, having your own voice, because it's like you didn't have this growing up. And it's like you can't keep giving, because it's imbalance. You're not getting either. So it's like you have to give and take. And the phoenix, the rising phoenix and the ashes, it's all about transformation. So it's like this needs to change. You are filled with inspiration now and attracting only the good. There's a sense of achievement around you at this time. You may be receiving documentation, certification, or a reward of some description to acknowledge your growth or experience. This is a time to cherish, a time to enjoy the rewards of your commitment to living with integrity and doing good. You have overcome many challenges and risen above adversity, judgment, and possibly even abuse. You are ascending spiritually and personally at this time, and the universe is supporting you. This is the pathway of light, the pathway of your soul's evolution, ascension. I love it. How can you heal? Pile 2, through transformation. Really like figuring out what no longer serves a purpose in your life. Some people don't really understand that concept, you know. I'll say that to my dad. I'll use that line. I'll be like, yeah, well, these things were just no longer serving a purpose in my life anymore. And he's like, whoa. Serving a purpose? Not everything has to serve a purpose. And I'm like, no, what I mean is like they were not in my life in a positive way, so therefore, you know, they had to go. And he's like, oh, that's totally different. It's like, okay. So it's like to heal, it's like you have to figure out what resonates with you in regards to people, places, situations, and it's like you have to literally Love yourself, which is in the process of the transformation, the rebirth. It's very hard when you didn't get that energy growing up, because it's like you don't feel like you're worthy of getting it in your current grown up life. So it's like you're always searching for it to get it from people. And it's like when people don't show up, it's like you'll probably get really disappointed, super sad, hypersensitive, like very over the top, over emotional. And it's because subconsciously you're trying to get a love you felt like you never got growing up. It's a really sad thing, childhood wounds. Like, and I hate when people try to like diminish our childhood wounds. I really do. I hate that shit. People have been diminishing mine, like my family, my whole life, because, you know, again, that higher perspective, it's like, okay, well, why would they do that? And I look at them and how they grew up, and it's like, because they were living in survival mode, you know? Their father beat them, and, you know, their mom really wasn't there once their parents divorced. But it's like, you know, that generation would consider that speaking ill of the dead. And it's like, I get it. I do. I see what you're saying. But at the same time, it's like you have to face your truth as to why you are the way you are. So it's like my mom's side of the family, they were constantly diminishing my pain growing up. It's like, oh, suck it up, buttercup. You know, you got a roof over your head, right? You're not being beat, right? You're fine. You're good. Lick your wound and get out the door, you know? And it's like, that, first off, is not healthy, but we have to respect the timeline that this was, right? So this was the early 90s. And also, you know, I mean, I'm not saying everybody went through that, but when you look through the timeline of history, it's like some things were more acceptable back then, right? It's like when you really look at history, like way back when, it's like our feelings as humans were suppressed. We weren't allowed to speak up, men and women. It's like, keep it all inside and don't speak. And then it's like, women, you know, we couldn't speak. So, and then it's like men would be unmanly of them to speak. So it's like, now when you speak up, right, because we're all about mental health these days, it's like, what's considered to be hypersensitive and what's not? It's like a very fine line, because you have to speak your truth. You have to heal yourself, right? And how do you do that? By being honest with what happened. But that's where it's a slippery slope. It's like, well, what did happen? You know, they say there's 3 sides to the story, right? There's your side, their side, and the truth. So we all believe in an egotistical way that we know the truth. But, you know, when I look back to my situations, I'm like, okay, I kept getting denied the truth. Like I was bad. I was the liar. And it's like, it's because they really grew up in this mindset that they really didn't think my life was bad. And it wasn't bad, but it's just like, you shouldn't be complaining at all, because my life in comparison to theirs, there's nothing to complain about. And even then, they really wouldn't complain about their life. They'd probably talk shit about their dad and, you know, idolize their mom. And then, you know, one is 7, you know, so they all have different opinions about the mom. And it's like, that's that mindset of, you just had to live. You had to live. You had to survive. Why are you thinking so much about these things? And it's like, because something's not right in the current life. Something is happening that shouldn't be happening. And that's where I feel like they lack in that. But it's like, it's the higher perspective is they're okay with this, because that's what they were raised to believe. You know, look at them growing up. Or look at, like I said before, it's like I kept saying, no, this was terrible. This is what happened. And one of my uncles was like, no, that never happened. And it turned out it's because he was drunk the whole time. So it's like, no, he really believed what he said. It didn't happen. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. The goddess of light, we are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. And then we got, I'm not going to pronounce this right, lapis lazuli. So, what have you learned from childhood that can help others? Okay. Let's see. Wait. The goddess of light, we are all secret mirrors. So you've learned from childhood that we all have pain. That we all have pain. Some of us realize what the pain is, some of us don't. But you're aware that we're all one. That somehow we're affected by our childhood wounds, and that we're all not so different after all. And that there is something beautiful to get out of this. Okay. Wait, what was the question? Sorry. What have you learned from childhood that can help others? What have you learned from childhood that can help others? I'm seeing an angry eye, and it opens really big, and this huge ass teardrop comes out of the eye, and it turns into a person. There's so much light within this person, but it's like something about showing everyone the hurt. Something about showing what you've learned and worked through and how it can help others, how it can benefit others and make them feel good about their own pain. Something about making them realize that even the shadowy traits, it's like they're doing it because they're just looking for love. Like, you know, love, love, love. Why don't you love me? Love me, love me. Like it stems from that. And it's like somehow you realize everybody is just wants true, real love. So because they're not getting it, it's like somehow you see that and you're helping them through your light and your shadow. Like by you doing shadow work, by you going on a path of healing, of transformation, it makes you more aware of the wounds that are there with people and how those people can heal themselves or realize things about themselves, and then through that healing them, it gives them peace. Why am I seeing Gemini? I'm seeing Gemini come through. I'm seeing, I feel like a Ouija board or something like that. So I'm going to open my eyes for a second. So it's interesting. Gemini and a Ouija board. So Ouija board. Oh, mirroring, the Gemini, the twins. Okay, got it. We're all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. Ouija board, connecting with spirit. So it's like, I'm not saying I'm for the Ouija board, just want to make that clear. But it's like intuitively knowing what have you learned from childhood that can help others. It's like this intuitive knowing of what people need, because you know yourself from going through it, from going through your own pain and seeing the healing process and what's involved in it. Somehow there's like this intuitive knowing of other people's pain and how to help them. We are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. who she is. Amaterso embodies the levity that brings us out of the darkness and shows us the beauty of our own light. Amaterasu is the most powerful deity. Wait, hold on. I didn't listen to that. Hold on one second. Amaterasu embodies the levity that brings us out of the darkness and shows us the beauty of our own light. Yes, pile two. It's like you know the potential of everybody's light that really is within, and somehow because of your own wounds and going through it and transformation, it's like you intuitively know how to bring that out in people. Amaterasu, Anne Marie, let's call her Anne Marie, I'm just kidding, is the most powerful deity in the Shinto religion. She's the solar goddess of Japanese mythology. Her name means shining in heaven. The oldest legends of Amaterasu date back to the 8th century and come from the Kojiki, or the Japanese record of ancient masters. In Shinto, kami are spirits or deities. And the most well-known story of the kami in Shinto is when Amaterasu got in a fight with her brother, Susanoo, god of the storms and of the sea. His violence made Amaterasu so upset and angry, she retreated into a cave, leaving the world in darkness. The kami of... Oh, wait, that is so cool. Hold on one second. Shinto is when Amaterasu got in a fight with her brother. That's why the twins. Okay. The kami of merriment placed a mirror outside of her cave and laughed so much Amaterasu became curious. She peeked outside the cave and saw a beautiful goddess, a stunning vision of the dawn. She was in awe of it, not realizing it was her own reflection. Surrounded by laughter, Amaterasu's anger and depression lifted, and she agreed to leave the cave, bringing her light with her back into the world. That is literally such a poetic, beautiful way of putting how transformation works. It's like when you go in the dark, when you go and face the ugly, it's like something beautiful energetically comes about through this, and people feel this and see this. When your soul selects her card, the cave is so crucial, drawing inward, hiding our light to restore ourselves and to heal from something or someone that felt too intense or aggressive. When we hide our light, though, we aren't the only ones left in the dark. We take our light from the ones who love us well. Wait, I almost feel like that's your childhood, the empowerment. Drawing inward, hiding our light to restore ourselves and to heal from something or someone that felt too intense or aggressive. When we hide our light, though, we aren't the only ones left in the dark. We take our light from the ones who love us as well. The beauty of Amaterasu is that she emerges from the cave out of curiosity, attracted to someone else's joy. That's when she meets with the dawn of her own reflection. She doesn't truly see herself and the beauty of her light until she's drawn out of herself. Amaterasu sees her own light when she becomes curious about seeing the light that's around her in the levity and laughter of the other deities. This is the answer. If we've been too long in retreat, if we've been hiding our light, not out of self-love and soulful need for restoration, but out of a reaction to someone else's pain, then we draw ourselves out by focusing on the joy of others. Seeing their light allows us to see our own. And sometimes even the solar goddess needs to be inspired or reminded of why she shines so brightly, not just for the sake of her own reflection, but also for all those beloved beings that need her rays of light to remember their own. Sometimes we need the sight of the faces we brighten in order to remember why we are so devoted to finding our way back into the light. That is literally so beautiful. I'm sorry to sound like that person, but that really is. Because it's like, when you do that, the transformation, it's like considered hermit mode. It's like solitude. It's wisdom. But there's a difference between lonely and, not really getting it. So it's like when you go within and you do it and you're healing yourself, it's like it's important to remember that fine line that don't stay there for too long because you'll be blocking your own blessings. It's like when you go within, you see, okay, wow, like I get it now. I get why, you know, like me, for example, I get why, like, when I think of my ex-boyfriends, I'm like, you know, nobody else understood what I saw in these people. And that's not to say that, that's a message or that means something, because sometimes other people aren't going to resonate with that. And I think that gets in our head sometimes, and that's not what I'm trying to say. But what I am trying to say is that looking back at these relationships that I was in, it's like these people low key always felt I was better than them. And like they didn't understand why I chose them. Like low key, like they really didn't get it. Like they really thought, you know, looking back, like I was either better in some physical aspect or mentally. I don't know. But there was always this energy of like, you know, like you're going places, that type of thing. Like people always saw this in me. And I didn't grow up thinking that way. I didn't grow up thinking I'm better than you. You don't deserve me. Like maybe, like I said before in another video, like on some type of spectrum, we all judge. The difference is based on, do we act on it? Do we treat people differently based on it? Do we just kind of ignore it because it's not fair to judge? And it's not. But it's like, I never understood why these guys would think that. I'd be like, why do they think these thoughts? Like we're equal. Like I love you, you love me, I see your light. But the problem is that balance, right? Balance needs to come into play. You can't just ignore all the shadow and just see the light. So it's like when I think back, I'm like, I never saw my own light. I never saw all these things that my ex-boyfriend saw in me. If anything, my insecurities came out while being with these guys, and I would literally act in a way that was that did not behoove me. It was just like that negative energy doesn't represent who I am. My insecurities are coming out, and you know that those are our shadowy traits. And sometimes though, what I'm trying to say is that we don't realize what our light really is. For years, I kept getting that same repetitive thing, like they thought I was better than them. And I didn't realize that a lot of our issues stemmed from their insecurities and the things that they would do because of this. But because I didn't have that mindset, I didn't see that. I didn't see that that's why these things were happening. So then it's an energy, right? So I would react to that and act insecure and be like, you know, not acting my best. The point is that we're supposed to be around people who actually see our light, the beauty in us. Not the ones who get jealous by it, not the ones who get insecure by it, not the ones who low-key like want to step all over it or take advantage of it. You know what I mean? So it's like what Spirit is saying is that when you realize these things, when you start thinking about these people and these connections you've had, and you begin to see who you really are, it's hard to go back out and communicate with other people in a way where you're true to yourself, because now you know your worth. You know, now you see what all these people saw in you that you didn't see in yourself. But at the same time, it's like you have to be around the people that see that in you to remind you you are this. It's like you need to see that appreciation. You need to see this reflected back. And there's nothing wrong with that. Imagine someone in this moment you want most to see laugh and fill with light. We are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. I love that. Okay, lapis lazuli. It is the crystal of prosperity and success. It opens the third eye, raises inspiration, and makes harmony. It cultivates the power to think and re-examine thoughts and traumas that were placed aside. It is more effective for those who are accustomed to mental training, and it allows them to experience the direct effect of looking inside themselves and finding answers. The sixth chakra, indigo. It develops oh, what did I say? Intuitively knowing people around you and where healing needs to take place. And because of this, it's like you intuitively know the right things to say to help people. It develops inspiration to help introspect oneself. It emphasizes development and success in order to help face the problems of the situation accurately. It develops inspiration to help introspect oneself. It emphasizes development and success in order to help face the problems of the situation accurately. It is good to keep it as an accessory near your body, like a bracelet or necklace. I love it. It cultivates the power to think and re-examine thoughts and traumas that were placed aside. It is more effective for those who are accustomed to mental training, and it allows them to experience the direct effect of looking inside themselves and finding answers, because we already know, right? That's what our annoying ass spirit guides always tell us. Energetically, when we're looking for the answers, and then they throw all these synchronicities our way and we're like, why aren't they helping us? So pile 2, this was like a beautiful reading. It really was. It's like you just have to love yourself, heal yourself, and then hang out with people who see what you see in yourself after you heal. Because you're coming through as this person who knows their worth and very loving. So I hope that resonates with you. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I'm sending you love and light.